Strategy. In the fight game, there is no word more meaningful. Heart, stamina, power, chin. The right strategy can overcome all of these things, and the wrong strategy can undermine even the greatest natural advantage. When Patricio Freire first fought Pat Curran, he was essentially formless in his approach. He was confident that he had the power to overwhelm his larger foe, and for 5 rounds he battled, willingly going wherever the fight took him. He lost a split decision, and Curran became the Bellator featherweight champion. It took a year and a half and 4 consecutive wins, but Freire finally clawed his way into a rematch in September of 2014. And this time, things were different. Freire was still the more powerful puncher, but now he was also better prepared. No longer aimlessly fixated on knocking his opponent out, he stuck to a game plan and came closer than anyone ever has to putting the well-rounded Curran away. Now, Freire prepares to defend his belt against Daniel Strauss, the only other man to defeat Curran at featherweight. He's got a tough challenge ahead of him, but the man they call Pitbull is smarter and more dangerous than ever. This is Patricio Pitbull Freire, the Warrior's Code. From the opening bell, Freire went against the pattern of his first attempt and stayed on the outside. As the shorter man with shorter arms, this would seem to be to his disadvantage, but the Brazilian had a larger strategy at play. Moving erratically from one side to the other, he repeatedly backed up whenever Curran feinted and jabbed his way forward, trying to goad Curran into a chase. As long as Curran refused to bite, Pitbull stayed outside of punching range and chipped away at Curran's legs. Eventually, he tired of being kicked and, by now used to moving forward unopposed, walked Pitbull down a little too confidently. Suddenly, Pitbull had Curran marching right into his range on his terms. Watch Curran's feet as Freire circles. When Freire begins moving to his right, Curran takes a hard step forward as if to strike. Before he can, Pitbull drops his weight and bursts forward himself. Curran parries his first punch, but Pitbull, tenacious as his nickname implies, shifts, stepping forward with his right foot and landing a clean, straight left in the process. His next right hand finds the mark as well, and nearly knocks Curran to the canvas as he abandons any semblance of proper footwork in his desperation to back out of Freire's range. Let's see that one more time. Perhaps anxious to win back the momentum of the fight, Curran tried for another rush just seconds later. He never realized that he had already been goaded into closing the distance for his smaller opponent. He was falling prey to the strategy, and once again, Freire was waiting for him. Again, Curran takes a deep step forward, advancing on Freire in a straight line. In response, Pitbull sidesteps his rush, moving his left foot to the left, while at the same time transferring his body weight to his right foot, and bringing a crushing left hook along with it. Curran, blindsided, goes down, and once again Freire does his nickname justice as he goes in for the kill. Once again. Note how aggressively Curran dives into Freire's most effective range, negating his own reach advantage and his frustration at the Brazilian's early commitment to pot shots and kicks. Just as in their first fight, Curran relied heavily on his excellent jab, but often failed to follow through on his success. Here, Curran peppers Pitbull with a sequence of pitter-patter jabs, but neglects to follow up with anything more meaningful. Freire showed no such timidity. Here he answers Curran's flurry of jabs with some soft, touching punches of his own, but when Curran reacts defensively, he capitalizes with a thudding low kick. This became the pattern of the entire bout. Curran would attack or feint and then go on the defensive. Freire, meanwhile, was prepared to attack at all times and through even the smallest windows of opportunity. Thus, Curran found himself trying to trade with a man who refused to wait his turn. Watch. Curran steps in with a wide right to the body, which lands. He's now finished attacking, however, and starts to pivot to his left. Freire, with perfect timing, hits Curran while he turns before he can set his feet to either punch or defend. With only one foot firmly on the ground, Curran collapses backward, and Freire jumps on him. The following diagrams illustrate where Curran went wrong. By stepping off the center line, Curran, indicated here by the fighter in red, decreased the distance between his right shoulder and Freire's body, making it easier to land his wide right downstairs. As you can see, this leaves both men square to one another, with neither able to control the distance with his left hand. To remedy this, Curran began pivoting to his left, but Freire was too fast for him. If there's one punch that can be thrown well from a squared position, it's the left hook, and the pivoting Curran found himself moving along the circular path of Pitbull's dangerous left hand. Watch it again in slow motion here. You can see how pivoting away from a left hook is often like trying to escape a train by running down the tracks. More important, however, than the technical minutiae is the mentality that Freire's knockdown punch suggests. He does not wait for his turn to strike, or only attack from a certain distance. Instead, he is comfortable enough to throw punches in the pocket while his opponent attempts to get away from him. Freire has always been fierce, and he is no less so for age and experience. On the contrary, his time in the sport has granted him the discipline necessary to stick to a game plan and face down every variety of opposition. In his rematch with Curran, Freire's strategy was nearly flawless. Over the course of 5 rounds, he fought his fight, dictated the range, maintained the initiative, and hurt the champion several times. This time, there was no split decision. The judges' cards were unanimous. Patricio Pitbull Freire, the new Bellator featherweight champion. Long live the king. If you enjoyed this video, you can find others like it by subscribing to MMANation.com on YouTube. You can also find lots more of my work on BloodyElbow.com, as well as boxing breakdowns on BadLeftHook.com. This is Connor Rebush, and thank you for watching.